Ross, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us. I mean, even for Gary Neville, who is a man who is odious enough to begin with and relatively, kind of disliked around the world of football just because of his arrogance and because of his inability to kind of see anything but his own opinion, he's managed to upset quite a lot of people in the country by blaming white, middle-class, angry men for everything that's going wrong with this country.
Yes, yes. Well, Gary Neville played 85 times for England in front of crowds which were waving the St George Cross and Union Jacks, people painting their faces to join in the fun. I don't remember him storming up into the stands then to tear down people's flags and so on. But now he's into sort of upmarket property development. He seems to see it rather differently and
Yes.
demanded that this St Union Jack that was flown by some of the construction workers on his big development in Manchester, ordered him to take it down, saying, it's become the preserve of angry white men. In being used in a negative way. Well, if you talk about angry white men, I mean, Gary Neville would appear to fit the bill there himself. But if he was so worried about this sort of flag being used as sort of anti-migrant protest, actually on his site, the Union flag there was sort of one of three, I understand.
Yes.
One of the others was a Moldovan flag, presumably put up by one of the construction workers who comes from that
Yes.
country. Very proud of his nationality,
Right.
but it's peculiarly English, isn't it, to be sort of
Yeah.
embarrassed by a national flag?
Well, you make that point very well that, in Norway, the flag is seen on farms. You go to Turkey, huge Turkish flags flying. Germany, national flag flies in allotments. I mean, I remember being in Mexico a few years ago and there was the biggest flag you've ever seen. It was giant. It was sort of flying just off the coast of Cancun. And it was just, it was visible from practically sort of 10 miles away. And in America, where I visit frequently, outside my sister's house, there's a flag of the United States, the Stars and Stripes. Every house has got a Stars and Stripes flag pretty much flying outside it, and nobody bats an eyelid. They actually don't mind if you don't fly one, but equally they don't think you're weird or right-wing or bigoted or mad if you do.
No, and it's extremely peculiar, isn't it, that the sort of England and flag and United Kingdom flag should be sort of singled out as sort of symbols of racism. I mean, study after study reveals that Britain is one of the least racist places on earth. When people are asked, would you mind having a foreigner living next to you or
Yeah.
working alongside somebody of a different race? I mean, fewer British people are bothered by that than in almost any other country in the world. We are one of the least racist countries. So, why is our national flag sort of seen by these sort of liberal lefties as a symbol of sort of racist shame? I
Yeah.
mean,
And
it's
oppression,
absolutely
apparently.
bizarre.
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, I don't really understand the mentality of people like Gary Neville who seem to think that by putting up a flag of your own country, that it's somehow a provocative act or a controversial act or something that will upset other people. I don't know anyone, actually, who's ever said to me, I'm upset by the sight of a Union flag.
No, well, apart from the sort of liberal left, I mean, who are extremely upset by it. But
No, but I mean, in
it,
terms of actual, in my day-to-day, kind of interactions with people, I'm not talking about the nutters who sort of roam the streets looking for a demonstration to join. I don't know anyone who would ever have said to me, I don't like the sight of a British flag or an English flag.
No, exactly, among the sort of general populace, but
Yeah.
it's sort of rather indicative of where Gary Neville is at the moment. I
Mm.
mean, he's now in this sort of upmarket property business. I mean, the minimum price, the cheapest flats in this development in Manchester are 350,000. They're not exactly going to sell to
No,
ordinary football fans, are
no.
they? He's sort of fishing around in this sort of rather market that's dominated by metropolitan
Mm.
types who, like to sort of jump on board this sort of bandwagon
Yes.
of liberal
Well, as people
virtue.
say nowadays, you have to be rich to be a socialist.
Well, yes, you do have to be extremely rich, and Gary Neville certainly fits in that camp, doesn't he? You know, you have to be able to afford to
Mm.
be left wing now, because I mean anybody sort of further down the food chain finds themselves in a cost of living crisis, being taxed to death and so on. But you know, if you're a multi-million pound footballer turned property developer, well, obviously you're aloof
Right.
from those
Exactly right. And of course, he gets away with saying it because he says the right thing on the right side of the political divide. Because if he'd said, for example, you know, the problem with Britain is it's being ruined by Islamic fundamentalists who are telling people that they should go and stab Jewish people, and this is going to get a lot worse before it gets better, he'd have been sacked by Sky literally within 10 seconds.
Yes, yeah. Well, he's sort of occupying the sort of Gary Lineker. Well, he is
Yeah.
to Sky TV what Gary Lineker was to the BBC, isn't he? The sort of football presenter with the left liberal social
Mm.
conscience. But whether it's former fans what they make of it, I'm not
Well, a lot
quite.
of people are very upset about it, particularly since, you know, white middle-aged men are very much the people that have paid for his lifestyle over the course of time. They've gone to football matches, they've bought tickets to see him at various different venues and you know, entertainment scenarios, and also they're the sort of people that pay subscriptions to Sky TV to watch the football. But Ross, a great column. Thank you very much indeed. Ross Clark, columnist at The Sun today, having a go at Gary Neville, footy ace, of course, slammed by many people, including many of you who have written to me, saying what an absolute plonker he really is.